Hello, I'm Sally Davis. I'm a co-founder and the Chief Scientific Officer at MARINAS Bio. Have you ever wondered where caviar came from? Caviar hails from the Caspian Sea traditionally, where its collection is now banned on account of the state of the fishery. Even if you were to get a hold of some of this illegal caviar, you'd be concerned about food safety. Oh. Okay. Sorry. Oh, no. In aquaculture, it takes up to a decade to grow a female to maturity, such that she can be slaughtered for her caviar. These slaughters and harvests tend to be annually, and the quality can be highly variable, such that sometimes it's not even put on the market. Even worse, shelf life can be as short as 2 months. All of these supply limitations are driving a vibrant black market, and 24 out of 27 species of sturgeon are either endangered or threatened. What if we could make caviar outside the animal? We wouldn't have to sacrifice the individuals. We could cut down on the food waste. Cleaning in a very clean environment, we could actually have a longer shelf life, and we could break that seasonal curse in terms of its availability if we could shrink the time from years to months. So let's move from could to can. This is not working. All right. At MARINAS Bio, we're going to create caviar outside of the fish. We take sturgeon and we collect eggs from them. We do this with animals whose health has been certified, and then we ensure that as we optimize and characterize our cells, that we are growing them up appropriately to avoid downstream bottlenecks in production, as well as ease our regulatory approval. It'll be critical that our caviar tastes great. As such, we plan to match the nutrient profile of current conventional caviar, which is in its own a superfood. Our first clients will be chefs and premium food services. Currently, the seafood market is $600 billion. Within that, you have a $2.4 billion caviar and roe market. That's the legal market. On top of that, we're in a space, the cellular agriculture space, where things are too expensive to make still. It's $500 per kilogram to grow food, whether it's meat or seafood, in a bioreactor. It's also only approved in 2 places on Earth right now, the US and Singapore. In contrast, though, caviar sells at $2,000 per kilogram. Therein lies an opportunity. Our team has the science and commercial experience to make this a reality. I'm a veterinarian scientist with an aquatic focus with 20 years of experience in biomedical research. I'm surrounded by a team that has the seafood industry, cell-cultivated regulatory approval, as well as scientific experience to make this a reality. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you very much. So isn't there a danger that caviar will lose its charm? I mean, people who buy caviar, aren't they buying because it's rare? And isn't it like producing wine out of something that's not grapes?
No, it's an excellent question, and it's something we're exploring through customer discovery right now. We've been at culinary schools and also working with the University of Chicago to meet with chefs and interview them and talk about how it's normally sourced right now, who are the customers, what could be the potential customers. We have a section of the population in the United States that deliberately doesn't eat caviar right now because of the ethics and other concerns around how it's sourced, yet they would be very interested in a premium seafood sourced superfood. There is also the opportunity to find backing through culinary schools and explore this further, and to partner with the extant aquaculture industry, because part of what's at the ethos of how caviar is selected and how it's currently sampled globally is this concept of tasting and pairing with wines. There's actually a fairly rich plant-based caviar market out there already, particularly in Asia, but they're usually used for complementary color, accents, and other aspects of dishes because they just don't have the taste, and they don't come anywhere near the taste of the real caviar.
Thanks.
Yeah.
More questions?
I'm just curious about that. I think we're here in a premium market discussing this, but what's the current price point of producing this way versus how it is to nowadays, a can in the market? And how do you plan when you're scaling and optimizing everything? Where do you want to be? You know?
Right. So currently, all in, if you were to consider all the production costs as well as the distribution, and there is only a very limited distribution of cell-based meat at this point, chicken, it's about $500 per kilogram. There are a number of estimates out there in the sort of space of the competitors in that current market that say that it can come down to about $50 per kilogram in the next few years. Unfortunately, most of the products that are coming into that market are at the sort of chicken nugget, fish burger, hamburger sort of stage. And it's hard to imagine paying that much for something along those lines. So there's been a shift recently in this cell-cultivated space to premium products. And with that, there's a shift in complexity. But ours are actually individual cells. And so there's less complexity to them in some ways than, say, a cut of steak, which would have various types of cells, as well as a lot of matrix to actually make something resembling a steak and tasting that way.
Hi, thank you, Sally. Sorry if I didn't get it, but when do you predict to have a product to try?
Right. So we're on a sort of 4 or 5 year time scale here. We're in the first year. We have cell lines active. In about 18 months to 2 years, we'll be planning tastings. And then from there, we will scale in terms of the finished product. And we already have some partners that are working with us. We have a letter of intent from a seafood distributor. We have this connection with the Culinary Institute where they're going to work with us on a tasting approach, and also some of the caviar producers in the area where we are.
So nothing for lunch today?
Nothing for lunch today. I apologize. Yep.
So you will be needing to control the conditions for the taste and time of growth. Mm-hmm. Will that affect on the nutritional content of the final product?
Yeah, so that's a wonderful question, and it hits on a couple things. One is, first of all, is that nutritional content known? And there are publications in the literature where we do know the lipid and protein profiles of a number of the caviar produced by various sturgeon. The second one would be, how do we actually reproduce that? So we have a different situation. We have cells in media, in bioreactors. So what we put in the media, in the end game, is what we're offering to our cells to take up. And they have their own mechanisms for bringing in various proteins or lipids. So through that process, we can match those. And so it'll be down to supply chain and sourcing and appropriate matching as to regards how we do that. Mm-hmm.